Hello everyone, welcome to another one. So, I have a clip. I already tried doing this 3 times. It's so hard, and I'm not very good at this. But you've seen the title of the clip. I have a Jubilee here, a clip from Jubilee. They ask a question to 7 teenagers, and the question is this:
Feminism has gone too far.
That means 5 out of 7, well, those are teenagers actually. 5 out of 7 teenagers do agree that it has gone too far. Let's take a breather. Okay, let's have a breathe. I don't care about your argumentation because I have my own argumentation. I possibly already, I don't know, mentioned about it in other clips. Possibly. Okay, that's quick. Hold on. As I said, I'm completely bad at doing these clips. So, I have another question. Is feminism about hating men? Because basically, if feminism has gone too far, it has gone too far because it is about hating men, right? Because it hurts men. That's why, well, that's the point of asking, has it gone too far, right? All right. So, I have an equation for you. But first, my argumentation. If you would ask any feminist a question, have women been enslaved by men in past? How many of feminists would say no? I would say almost none. Almost none. Most of them, if not all of them, would agree with it. Okay, so let's call it variable A in our equation. This one. Now, let's take a look at that sentence. Women have been enslaved by men in past. Is it true? Well, you should say mostly, I guess. It's not incorrect, but it's not completely true, is it? Why? Well, if you don't agree that it is not completely true, okay, let's take it apart, divide and conquer. Women have been enslaved by men in the past. Let's take a look at the first word, women. Well, that means men haven't. Well, I'm not a historian, but let's take a look at the past. Well, there were peasants. Peasants were men, right? Peasants didn't have many rights. They were also enslaved. If your argument is that women have been enslaved and men have also been enslaved because they were also peasants, yeah, sure, women have lesser rights, but lesser rights is than other men is you don't call it enslavement. You call it having lesser rights, right? If you're using enslavement, I mean, just that fits your agenda. That's why you're doing that, because it fits your agenda. So let's change it a bit. Let's work on this sentence so that it will fit to the past in 100%. So let's change the first word. Don't use women. Let's use people. People were enslaved by men in the past. Okay, it's more fitting, isn't it, now? It's more fitting. Yeah. Now suddenly it's more true than it was. Let's take a look at women were enslaved by men in the past. Is it like 100% true? Well, not entirely, right? Because, like, I understand that most of the time men were in power, but not always. Women were in power also, like in China, Russia, England. I'm not a historian, but I heard about these women. I've read some things about women that were in power, and guess what? When they were in power, yeah, they ruled kind of differently when it comes to economical things, and some women were actually completely insane. But when they came to power, women that didn't get their rights suddenly. Nothing was equalized. They ruled exactly the same when it comes to this issue, men versus women. They ruled exactly the same. Nothing changed. Peasants were still peasants. No additional rights for women. They ruled the same. So maybe I don't know. I'm not a historian, but there were women in past that came to power, and there were still peasants. So let's change it to fit the past better. People were enslaved by those in power in past. Okay. Hey, hello, now it fits, right? I could make an argument also about the enslavement because, well, there is an argument to be made there that people want more, they value peace more than freedom, but that's a whole different story, completely not related to feminism. So let's leave it like that. So we have a sentence right now: people have been enslaved by those in power in the past. Find me a person who disagrees with that. It will be extremely hard for you to find a person like that. And quite frankly, it will be as hard finding a person that disagrees with that. Finding a person like that will be as hard as finding a feminist that disagrees with women have been enslaved by men in the past. Okay? I think we can agree on that. I think we can. We can argue about the percentages, but come on. Come on, be real. It would be extremely hard to find a person who disagrees with that. That's variable B in our equation. Variable C. Let's create a completely different world, an alternate universe, where you are a woman and you were hurt by men in past. It's you are bitter, you want revenge, or as you call it, justice. And it's completely fine for you to feel like that. It's completely fine to feel injustice and feel hate, feel the need to revenge. That's just human. Acting on it, that's where it becomes wrong. But you're a person that doesn't want to act on it. And in this world, feminism never existed. And you want to create a movement that would achieve your goal: revenge. That's your agenda, revenge. Let's call it Men Accountability Initiative. Let's call it like that. And there are, of course, other women that were hurt by men and they join your movement. The movement grows. And you are pondering your options with other women, and that takes time. They're like the movement grows very slowly. And suddenly, during one of the meetings with other women, figuring out how to hurt women, on some occasions someone says, people have been enslaved by those in power in the past. And you hear it. And you say, you know, we could use that. We want to hurt men, right? Yeah, we do, everyone. Yeah, we do. So, I mean, people have had lesser rights than men in the past. So, why don't we just change all of this? Women had lesser rights, so they were like even below men. They were like enslaved there in the past. And look, most of the people in power were men. So let's change that. Let's change that sentence in order to fit our agenda of hurting men. Let's change this completely true and undeniable sentence. People have been enslaved by those in power in past. Let's change that to fit our agenda of hurting men. And what would you get after that change? You would get women have been enslaved by men in the past. That is variable C in our equation. Let me remind you, the equation we are talking about is feminism about hating men? So we have variable A. 99.999, almost all of feminists would agree that women have been enslaved by men in the past. Variable B. That's women have been enslaved by men in the past is not true. It doesn't fit. It is debatable. But when we change it to people have been enslaved by those in power in the past, suddenly that sentence fits completely. It's not, it is true, it's undeniable. Plus variable C. Giving that sentence to a person that has an agenda of hurting men, suddenly it becomes exactly what the feminists, all feminists agree with. Add those variables together. And what would be the answer to the question, is feminism about hating men? Please tell me, after adding those variables, what would be the answer? That's it from me. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. Bye bye.